Here we are, lovies, another week of Parenting Pause, the podcast. So glad you are here joining me. And just a quick reminder that we are starting our fourth Pure Joy Parent Coach training in June. It is such an exciting time for Pure Joy as we're growing and expanding. And this is such a phenomenal training, I just have to say. We keep it very small, only 10 to 12 folks, and it is a personal training as well as a professional training. So you have tons and tons of support, but you're also challenged to step into the professional seat of becoming a Pure Joy Parent Coach. So if you have any interest in hearing more, jump on over to the website at purejoyparenting.com. There's a little tab at the top that says Be a Coach, and check it out. And if you are interested, you can fill out an application or reach out to me at Leslie at purejoyparenting.com. And we can just explore together if it's a path that you're interested in taking. I know so many of the folks that have taken the training have gotten a lot out of the work, and they've had such profound shifts in their family and their relationships, especially with themselves, that they just want to offer it out to the world. So if that's you, reach out. Now, this week, I want to ask you a very deep question. And then you're going to sit with this week, explore a little bit, and we're going to dive in a little bit together. And the question is, what am I holding sacred in my parenting? Now, take a moment just to sit with that word sacred, because that begs to be defined, yes, and I think we each have a different definition. For me, the definition for in my parenting was really being able and choosing to show up in the present moment for my direct experience. I hold that deeply, deeply sacred, because when I'm not able to do that, I tend to be in a state of more righteousness. I tend to be in a state of drawing on my past or projecting into the future. And it's really hard then to show up in that direct experience for whatever it is. Because often I think when we think of the word sacred, we think that it has to be peaceful, calm, beautiful. Well, that's not my experience. My experience is when I show up in that moment of that direct experience, it can often be filled with delight and happiness, but it can also be filled with rage, and it can be filled with intensity. And I've learned to hold all of those experiences as sacred. Now, what happened often, and this might happen for you, is when I was emotionally triggered, I felt totally threatened by that direct experience. I could not stay in that experience because it activated. When we talk about an emotional trigger, it tracks us back into an early memory, an early time that maybe we had a different experience, and we feel so much, and we come to so many conclusions, or we did come to conclusions as children, and then those conclusions and those stories get projected onto that direct experience. So it's really challenging to stay in the present moment. And the main way I learned to do this was I created the safe seat practice. Now, if you're not familiar with the safe seat practice, or you don't have a copy of it, you can go over to the website at purejoyparenting.com, and you can download a 5-day free video series that's going to teach you the safe seat. Because I found so often with my daughter, let's say when she wouldn't listen to me, I could not be into the direct experience. I couldn't enter into the direct experience, which was to see what was actually going on for her. It became so personal. And then it activated all these memories and these emotions around when I wasn't listened to as a child. So I found the only way I could actually stay in the sacred journey of being with myself was to take myself to my safe seat, which was a sacred place. I have a deeper one that I call the sacred seat. And that is a place where I can go and experience in the present moment all of the feelings, all of the sensations, even all of the stories that are arising without projecting those onto my daughter and entering into an experience with her that doesn't directly relate to what is actually happening. Now, this is probably the hardest one of all because when I was emotionally triggered, most likely when you're emotionally triggered, it's very hard to come back into reality and to recognize that your child and their behavior is actually, they're not out to get you. Because I many, many times thought my daughter was out to get me because that's how I felt. It felt if she would only listen to me, if she would only do what I say, if she would only allow me to help her, I was a big helper, then I wouldn't experience these feelings of rejection, abandonment, helpless, powerless. Those were the feelings that were arising, and I was having a direct experience with them. And yet I wasn't living in the sacred space of meeting them, loving them, offering kindness to all that was arising in me. I was projecting it onto my daughter and continually trying to get her to change her behavior so I didn't have to have a direct experience with the depth and the beauty of my feeling experience. Thank you for listening to this episode of Parenting Fast. If you enjoyed the episode, do me a favor and share it with your mama friends. You can also leave a review wherever you listen, which will support getting the Pure Joy message out. Come on over to the Pure Joy Parenting Practice Facebook page or join me on Instagram to hear more. And don't forget to download your free copy of the Safe Seat course on the Pure Joy website. And while there, check out the offerings page to go deeper in the Pure Joy work.